welcome to Move and Meditate. Over the coming weeks, we are going to explore ideas, do practices, meditate, and take charge of our wellness, our flourishing. Because if we understand the principles about how we work as human beings, we can live with energy, we can give what our body needs, we can find more peace in our mind so we're not constantly fighting ourselves. We learn to be kinder to ourselves. And then that gives us the grounding and the resilience to then contribute, share our gifts with others, with family, with community, and ultimately the planet. So we are looking at ourselves holistically. It's easy in the West to imagine that the body and the mind are different and separate. That's how I would approach my mind in the past before starting Tai Chi and Qigong and meditation. And I've been on a journey for the last 4 years of self-discovery and understanding my nature and to try and get deeper with how I work. I'm still a student, but before all of this exploration, I would imagine that my brain was just like a vehicle. My body was like a vehicle for the brain, just moving the brain around. And yeah, I ran and I did fitness, but I didn't really look or understand the interconnection between my body and my mind. And so, yeah, I got anxious and confused, and then I'd feel sick all day and be unable to get up. And there's this interrelationship between the thoughts that I was having in my life and then how that physically manifested in my body. And so many different traditions from around the world do not see any separation between the heart, mind, and the body. And we're going to be exploring ideas generally from the Daoist culture, which is this wonderful, rich culture which looks holistically at your wellness. So you may have heard of Qigong or Tai Chi. There's loads of meditation practices in Daoism, and there's loads of ideas to help us find peace in our minds. And so it all interrelates, and that's what we're going to get into in the coming weeks. So the basic structure is we'll explore an idea at the start, and then we will do a meditation together of 10 minutes. And that is, beginning to ground ourselves in the here and now. And so, if you want to get into a comfortable space, you don't have to sit on the floor. If you can, it's sitting on the floor as a goal, and obviously just listening to your body and what is possible for you. We sit in everyday life when we eat, when we work, when we drive. We're hunched over like this, looking at our screens, and when we spend some time on the ground, we are having to keep our spine aligned and to work on our hip flexors. And so easy does it. But if you can sit on the floor, and maybe if this is a bit uncomfortable, stick a cushion underneath you. You'll find that if your bum is raised, then it's easier to have your hips here. And so you could, an even more comfortable position is getting maybe 2 or 3 pillows and then having them prop yourself up like this. So a few options for you and something to kind of research in your own time. A chair is more than adequate. Just get comfortable, basically. If you'd like to join me on the floor, then please do. So it's a great privilege to be here with you and get deeper. So we're going to meditate and then get into some Qigong and some movement from the wonderful ancient culture. Qigong is 2 characters. Qi, you may know this, energy, and the ancient Chinese equated the energy of the universe with the breath. Qi is universal energy and Qi is breath. So we'll be exploring breath work and how to use our breath to gain energy and to live more powerfully. And the amazing thing is that science is showing so many of these ancient practices actually have real solid scientific foundations, and that's really exciting to kind of see how the gifts of science actually lead us to the same conclusions. So that's Qi, and then Gong means practice. So Qigong is energy practice, and so meditative movement is essentially how we can talk about it. So using our bodies and expressing ourselves, having fun, not taking ourselves too seriously as always. And I hope you enjoy our exploration together over the coming weeks. So let's come in and into the present moment and arrive. So if there's anything that is kind of bothering you about things you need to do and potential distractions, just let them go. You know, we think for most of the day, and yeah, we're just taking some time to really be here and now and giving ourselves permission, saying, okay, I'll think about that later, or I will do that later. And then let's connect to the breath, or how the Chinese call it, Qi. And so a key principle of powerful breathing is slowing the breath down. Because actually, if we overbreathe, we're panting up here. We're not using the full totality of our lungs. And so when we actually slow down, counterintuitively, our breathing becomes more efficient. We capture more of the oxygen for every breath that we take. So let's just take some breaths together. If we breathe in through the nose, and a nice loud audible exhale out the mouth. And maybe you could bring some voice into it. Breathe in and breathe out. Just releasing any tension. Breathe in, breathe out. Maybe do some neck rolls. Breathe in and breathe out. So let's explore a specific practice which I love and highly recommend just bringing into your everyday, which is the 4-7-8 breathing. So counting for 4 seconds as you breathe in, holding for 7, and then releasing 8 counts. And you'll be surprised that actually just doing that 5 times can really begin to down-regulate you. Because if we're breathing really agitatedly, it's telling our body and this interconnected system that you are, the mind and the body aren't separate. When you're breathing shallow, quick breaths, it's like calling 911. It's calling the emergency services saying, you need to be alert, something's important is happening. And obviously, you know, back in the day when a lion was about, we'd be scared and we'd be breathing to activate our fight or flight response systems. But if we breathe quickly, then we also activate it. There's this reciprocal relationship. So when we slow down, we get into the more relaxed and digesting nervous system rather than being all agitated. So let's try this breathing together. I'll count and yeah, just join in with me. I invite you to. So we breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and release. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, hold, and release. Breathe in, hold, and release. We can close our eyes, breathe in, hold, release. Breathe in, hold, release. So that is our 5 breaths, and I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling much calmer. And so if we just come back into the room, and we'll get into a 10-minute meditation shortly where we're just going to be silent and present together so you can get deep. And yeah, if you've done some meditation before, then it's just observing. You may have some thoughts pop up, and yeah, it's observing that process. And that 4-7-8 breathing, you can bring it into even just taking one of those breaths can down-regulate you, calm you down. And something that I love doing is 5 breaths just before going to sleep. And you know, hopefully having a shutdown ritual, so I'm not just on my computer right until bed, but instead have a more mellow, maybe reading something, maybe just light stretching, and then I get into bed, and then I do those breaths, and then that's my mind shut down. I try and say, okay, I've done the thinking for the day, and yeah, just time to sleep. And when you do those slow breaths, it can really help you just relax into, yeah, dozing off and sleeping. So I'm going to use my phone, and let's do 10 minutes together, and you'll hear a gong like that every 2 minutes. And yeah, enjoy the process. Our brains aren't, if we close our eyes, our brains are there to think. And so meditation is not about shutting down our brains and never thinking again, but instead it is connecting deeper and being able to observe thoughts and see them pop up without them changing how you feel, and just being really curious about this amazing experience of being a human being and our consciousness. Because when you get that perspective on the thoughts that are coming up, it gives you that big picture grounding, so that you don't need to be whisked away by every thought and latch on to the story of who you are. They can pop up and go, and you can just let them go. So we can take a few deep breaths and then into silence, and yeah, enjoy your time. If we find ourselves drifting off into thought, a simple mantra is be here. You can lightly let go of those thoughts, tell yourself be here, and come back to the present. you can begin to come back into your space, bring some movement to the body. Maybe some shoulder rolls, some wrist rolls. Just keeping our eyes closed, just checking in with what that experience was like. Was it difficult, distracted, or was it quiet and present? And whatever your experience was is valid. It's where you are today. And in your own time, you can open your eyes. Let's get some bigger movements into the shoulders. So doing shoulder rolls forward and back. And then a seated twist. So if you flip round to your left and then look over your left shoulder, your right and your right shoulder. And then some cat-cows or some spinal waves. Yeah, just bringing some movement into the body. So let me know how that meditation was for you. I'll check in the chat and then we'll get up and do some movement. So that was our first meditation together. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, it's lovely to share the practice with you. 138 of you. Hi. More cowbell. Yeah, I'm in rural Scotland, so calming, refreshing. Thanks, Kelsey. Ren says he liked the mantra, be here. I really like that as well, be here. It's really simple, but yeah, it's very accepting of where we are. Longest I've ever been able to meditate yet. Go Toby, nice. Peter, very nice. Strawberry tofu, well needed peace. Last 2 minutes, felt very peaceful. Wonderful, Alina. Normally 30 minutes, felt like a breeze, nice. Yeah, I mean, definitely the longer, like 20 minutes. Like 10 minutes isn't quite enough, and maybe we could, do longer if you guys are up for it. But yeah, 20 to 30 minutes is where you get into deeper states. Easy to follow, back for more, yay. Yeah, for the be here, glad you enjoyed that. Matty, amazing. Thank you, everyone. So let's just reflect back quickly on what I talked about at the very start and this interrelationship between the body and the mind, because you'll notice that as we slowed down our breathing, it released tension in our mind, right? Did you experience that when we did that 4-7-8 breathing? And then there's the inverse relationship where if we stress ourselves out, we can be breathing. And so you are an ongoing, dynamic, dazzling continuum and process of relationship. You are not a thing in the world separate from everything else. You are an ongoing dance of harmony. And so when we look at our flourishing, it's crucial that we look holistically at our whole beings, our heart, mind, and body, and the spirit, which, we don't have to, I know that is a word with many connotations, but we can take a view that's compatible with science, which is, there's part of us that is beyond words, the miracle and the mystery of our consciousness, and, the fact that the universe exists at all. So, this universe has a propensity for consciousness, and spirituality is pointing to that more mysterious aspect of ourselves. And it is a dimension of our flourishing and our wellness, because if we feel disconnected or alienated, we can feel depressed and meaningless, like a alien fluke in a dead universe. But that's not the only way we need to think about ourselves, or can think about ourselves. And the Taoists and other traditions that lived close to nature felt themselves as coming out of the world, like an apple comes out of an apple tree. We are one manifestation of the intelligence of the universe and deeply connected to all of it. And so if we have that sense of connection, then that can help our mental health. And the fascinating thing about us being an integrated, holistic being is that our body can help our spiritual growth, because when we're not just constantly thinking, we can become more sensitive, and then the signals from the other senses can enter into our consciousness. Kind of comes up and says, hey, have you realized that when you're silent and you can observe your thoughts come up, that's pretty amazing? And most people are stuck in the thoughts. There's the metaphor of a waterfall. So we all have the torrent of waterfall of life, and it's all the thoughts bombarding us and all the responsibilities and stresses that we have as human beings. Meditation isn't switching off the tap and then the waterfall stopping. The waterfall's a natural phenomena of nature, but instead it's about stepping back and being able to watch the waterfall, and then having that perspective, so that, okay, sometimes those thoughts, we need to act upon them, other times we can just observe them. And then when we realize that, okay, actually, yeah, this life is a gift, and we can get really, senses of that in our meditation and being quiet, then yeah, it adds into this holistic flourishing because you feel connected. So that's beautiful, right? The interconnection between the mind, body, the heart, the spirit, it's all in there. And yeah, it doesn't have to be a non-scientific view. And yet, the Taoists thousands of years ago got all of this through their own experience without science. So where you go, you reach similar conclusions, which is beautiful. So let us move. I invite you to stand up. And yeah, maybe you've got some room to move around. A yoga mat is cool if you've got one. I don't, but that's all right. Let's have a look. All righty. So welcome to our movement practice. Yeah, right. So let's start with some wrist rolls and ankle rolls for one of the ankles. And we're just warming up the body now, getting it limber after staying still for quite a long time. Change direction of that ankle. And we can do some deep breaths, release some tension. Change foot. And other direction. All right, and if we interlace the fingers, reach up to the sky, look up to the sky, back down, twist to your left, look to the sky, back down, twist back to the middle, look to the sky, back down, twist to your right, look to the sky, and back down. And then if we open up and delace the fingers and then stretch the arms out as far as they can reach, hold your arms, relax your shoulders down, press your arms out, and let the arms lower to the ground. And then interlace your fingers behind your back. And then we're doing a chest opening here, so just pulling those arms back and just opening up. Shout out to Giles, who's a Tai Chi and Kung Fu teacher from Wudang. He lives in England. Well, from England, studied in Wudang. Been doing some Tai Chi with him, which has been fun. All right, then let's do some hip rolls. So getting some movement into the hips now. So meditation doesn't just have to be crossing your legs, change direction like we were doing. Simply taking breaths or just being in the world can be a form of meditation. So While we're doing these movements, I encourage you to just try and, if we start shaking out, be present. And if you have any thoughts, just the same sort of process of just letting them go, parking them, and allowing yourself to pick them up later. All right. So if we have our feet slightly, wide out, and we can put our hands on our knees, and then just try and circle the hips and listen to your body. If this is giving you knee problems, go a bit higher. You can just go here. Yeah, you don't want to be working through pain ever. But often, and I found in my injury journey, that actually strengthening the body and using the body is what prevents you getting injuries. Change direction, so we're doing hip rolls in the other direction. And so squats is something I've been doing a fair amount of, becoming stronger, which means that my muscles can support my joints more easily. All right, then if we put our hands onto our elbows and then bend forward fold with legs out stretched. You want straight back of your legs if possible, and then just rest down like a rag doll. And let's just chill out here. Take some mindful breaths. And try with each inhale and exhale just to potentially get a bit lower. So we can try that together. So inhale. And as you exhale, just see if you just set the intention of going a bit lower while listening to your body. Alrighty, so we'll just do a few more warm-ups. Let's do Warrior 1 in yoga or Gongbu in Qigong and Tai Chi. So that is, you've got one of your feet, this is my right, but I guess this is your left if you're matching me, your weight onto your forward foot, and then a straight back leg, and your knee is over your front foot, so you don't want to collapse your knee doesn't want to be doing this. You want your front knee over your front foot, and then the back foot at 45 degrees. And then bringing that hip forward, the left hip or the hip where the stretch is being felt. Then lift the heel. And then see if you can lower. This is kind of a high lunge. And then drop your knee onto the floor and your leg and your toe outstretched. And then pivot forward again, just opening up that hip flexor, maybe tensing your glute to activate that front quad and hip. All right, and then if we bring our back foot up, we go back to the low lunge, the high lunge, and then we bring our weight forward into our front foot, feet together, and forward fold. And just hang out here. And wherever you are, if you're here, that's cool. Just work with your body. There is no better or worse. This is just pure expression, enjoying yeah, using the capabilities of our bodies, because as we stretch and use them, they give us more energy. And yeah, we feel an opening within us in the same way that our muscles are opening and lengthening. All right, so we go into chair pose. So we've got a bend in our knees and then weight onto the left foot. And then take your foot back and gong bu. So we've swapped feet. So we're now into the gong bu on the other side. So your front foot, the knee is over, the back leg is straight, and the back foot is at 45 degrees. And use your breath to arrive and recenter into the stretch, and you should be feeling a stretch in your front hip flexor. And if we lift the heel, high lunge. And lower the back heel. And then pivot forward. So we're going to try a Qigong form called the 5 Animal Qigong. It's by Huo Tuo, who is a Chinese herbalist and medicine person. And this Qigong form is 1,800 years old. It's awesome. So if we come up to high lunge, so tuck your foot and lift your knee. And then weight onto your front foot. Feet together, forward fold. And if that's a bit difficult, just however you want to move forward to the forward fold. You don't have to do the balancing. All right, and then vertebrae by vertebrae come up. So we're going to keep the head tucked. So that's the last thing that comes up. And then stand upright and tall. Lovely, so shake it out. We're going to do some movement now, and the body's limber, and here's one more example of the relationship between the body and the mind. So we're going to be a bit silly right now and have some fun. If you put your arms out straight and take your space, be confident about the space that you're in right now, and yeah, you deserving to be here, and these power poses, and yeah, how does this feel right now? Bit powerful, confident, yeah. So, you can do this before a job interview or a big stressful situation. I'm much bigger than my underminer is telling me. So physical body movement leads the mind. Lovely. All right. Let's do 5 Animal Qigong. And yeah, it's a wonderful form, and Qigong energy practice, Qi practice, is a moving meditation, so we're present in our body, and it's the combination between these kind of specific moves and then being present with the breath as we go through them. So follow along, and yeah, whatever your stiffness or fitness, just have fun with it, and you can improvise and just go with what your body's telling you. So we're just going to maybe do 1 or 2 of the animals today and then continue in further weeks. The first animal is Tiger 1, so a ferocious tiger. And you've got to imagine the monks back in ancient China, they were looking at these animals and seeing their natural vitality and their power and their agility. And so they created these moves to try and emulate them and to try and also tap into that natural energy that is abundant. All right, so this is Tiger 1. So we press down, and then we make little claws, and then we push to the sky. So we push to the sky, we have our claws down, and then we push downwards. So let's just do our claws together. See that? Rawr, you're a tiger. That's what you're doing. So there's 3 hand positions: palm, claw, and fist. So palm, fist, claw. I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's try it again. So in our standing, we're just doing yeah, simple Qigong standing slightly wider than shoulder width apart, feet, and upright and relaxed, relaxed downwards. Okay, so we've got our palms here, and as we breathe in, we come into our fists, and then claws to the sky, and then claws pull down into fists and palm. Palm, claw, fist, palm, palm, claw, fist, palm, palm, claw, fist, palm, palm, claw, fist, palm. So let's try the breathing with it. So as the hands go up, we breathe in. And breathe out as we stretch up. Breathe in as they come down. And breathe out as they stretch out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. So now let's just be present in our bodies and just see how that feels, and yeah, being conscious of the breath, staying with the movement, with the body. Every move in Qigong can be its own moving meditation. So over the weeks we'll do the full form, but even just this can be a lovely stretch, a lovely body energizer, and a tranquility practice to calm us down. All right, let's move on to Tiger 2, and then we'll link those two together. So we've got our claws. This is the second move of the tiger. And you can imagine that we're catching a rabbit or something. That's our catch. So we bring our claws up and we reach out in front of us and we're catching it. So I'll just demonstrate the whole move first and then let's break it down. So we bring our claws, we catch. All right, so that's the full move. So something to note is that if we just go to here together, our legs are straight, and yeah, wherever your back is, that's cool, and your arms are outstretched with your claws. We can just kind of hold here as a stretch if we want. The slower we take these moves, the more kind of yogic they are. So we bring our palms down, and then we come upright. And then we bring our weight onto the other foot. So let me mirror it with you. So we've just been here. So we come up and we bring our weight onto our right foot. And then toe up, heel on the floor. And then this is where we're landing for our next move. And then we shift our body back to the middle and we're back to that initial position. And then we do that similar circular movement. Weight onto your left, and then heel with the right. And then let's hold there in that stretch position. And then turn your body to the front, feet grounded. And yeah, we're back in the middle. All right. So we've got our claws. We're going to go to the right hand side, the left hand side, back to the middle, Left hand side. I'm trying to mirror your sides and there's too many sides. Back to the middle. All right. So you can feel this is quite an active stretch, and you can maybe feel it in your hamstring as you do it. As I said, the slower you do it, the more of a stretch it is. All right, let's shake things out. Limber up. So we'll link those two, and let me check the time. Let's see how long we've got. And yeah, I think that'll be enough for today. So you've kind of got the basic flow of the moves now. Let's just enjoy it. There's no right or wrong here, as always with our exploration of Daoism. So let's link those two moves. We'll do 6 of each move. Try and be present. It's a moving meditation, and then yeah, jump back on the chat, see how you guys are doing, and then yeah, that will be it for today. All right, let's do it. So our Qigong standing, palms and claw, we push up, pull up. Hold up the heavens and pull down. And tiger 2. So we get our claws out to the front, weight onto the left, reach to the right, back to the middle, weight onto the right, reach to the left, back to the middle. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And back to the middle, back to our standing. We can just do a closure, so we're kind of bringing the energy in. Chinese call the area where our energy resides the dantian, just below the belly button. And so this is a closure, a regrounding. And then we can bring our hands together just below our belly buttons. Take some mindful breaths. Calm down the body after that movement. And feet together. And to do our Tai Chi salutes, left fist, right palm, a bow, and a thank you. So thank you for joining. That's been our first Move and Meditate session. I hope you enjoyed. We've got some diversity of activities, which is representative of the mind, body, and heart and spirit connection between you as a holistic being, rather than having separate components like a machine. And so as the weeks go on, we'll explore these concepts more. Hope you enjoyed.